Let's move on to our third main topic today. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This is from Cory Gilchrist. Took a look at the calendar and noticed there was not one major horror theatrical release in the month of October. We've been lucky to have a few the last few years with films like Halloween, Happy Death Day 1, and Jigsaw. It seems horror shows are popping up left and right on TV and streaming, but why do you think studios are skipping out on the Halloween Spooked Market this year? Rob, why aren't we getting anything in cinemas that's spooky?
Well, I think that our viewer pointed it out. I mean, things are moving on to streaming. I mean, we've got In the Tall Grass, which is a Stephen King adaptation that dropped on Netflix. There's another incredible series that I loved, a French series called Marianne. That's a combination of Stephen King, Sam Raimi. I mean, it's really, really good. And I think, at least in terms of Shudder is killing it. And I think in terms of the new Creep Show is out. I think in terms of horror, at least the way it worked out this year, the streaming services are filled with new horror stuff. And for whatever reason, the studios just didn't have anything. I find it strange. I mean, I know it opened, I guess the first one opened in September, but I would have thought that they might have pushed it, Chapter 2, into October, but maybe they didn't because of what they saw as being rivalry from streaming. I don't know. It's very odd to me.
I think one of the things that you got to look at too when we're looking at this is there data that supports the notion that if you release your horror film in October, it will make more money than if you release it? Because I think a lot of us, me included, would have assumed that, yes, that's the case. If you release it in October, it will make more money than if you release it at other times. And I think studios are starting to double or second guess that. Because you were mentioning, like, even something like Halloween didn't open in October. I mean, it was playing in theaters in early September. It got its wider release a little bit later on. But, I mean, there has been something to say, but there was an era when any horror film that was going to open in October. And it's just not the case anymore. And I have to wonder if maybe to them, the numbers are showing them that there's no particular advantage to coming out during October. And that seems unintuitive. It seems like going against the grain because that's just not the way my brain works. My brain works horror, October, but maybe that's not the case. I don't know. Do you think there's something to that?
Well, you know, I think you might be right about that. I mean, if you think about who is the audience for horror, and horror is always skewed a little younger, and the people that go to horror films, they're college students, high school students. October is a month where school has started and you're in school, you know, whereas you're deep into school. You know, you're in the middle of whatever, your first quarter, your first semester, whatever it is. And October is the month where you're really starting to buckle down and solidify. You've had homecoming is probably passed. And I think that maybe that's why we're seeing horror movies in August and September, because you still have an audience that is going, whereas maybe the movie going tapers off in October, I would assume because of school and life in general, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
All right, question here is, guys, what do you think about that? Do you have a particular theory as to why we're not seeing, there's also been a trend. We've seen less and less movies opening in October. Why do you think we're not getting any horror movies in October? Do you have a theory? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.